Hello. Okay. So in the previous session, we have seen the basic programming concepts, that are the keywords, and we have done the two programs in that was prime number as well as the game of rock, paper and scissors. So we have gone through over there the conditioning statements, the keywords, variables, and different kind of operators we have used over there till now, right? So with what we have not gone across through, what we have not seen yet is the part that what exactly is a function and all, right? So we'll go more deeper inside the concept, and as said in the previous session that we'll be doing more much detailing about the Python programming language. You will see how the function is declared, how the functions are used, what are the basic concepts behind the functions, and various other different kind of concepts we're going to see through. So in today's session we're going to cover programs with loops and function and file handling. Okay, so now what exactly we are going to do, we are going to see exactly what is a loop, what are the functions, and what is file handling. Okay, so we are going to see exactly how does it take care of, right? So exactly what is a function, what is a loop, what is a different kind of loop available, like for loop, while loop. Then we'll be saying file handling and all. So if you remember in the project, in the previous project which we are doing as a prime number project, we have gone through the concept called as for loop, where we created some kind of a function, and that function was utilized in such a case that we are easily able to run the loop, like in the sense we are easily able to iterate the values again and again with some amount of instance, like we are incrementing value one by one, and we printed the value from 2 till the n minus 1 value, so that we were easily able to iterate the exact numbers and we used to divide them, right? So if you've not seen that session, if you have not gone through that particular project, I would suggest you to go that through again and have a look on that, how that exactly we have created. Okay, so now our today's topic is, just a second. Yeah. Um, yeah. So our today's topic, as I said, is a function and all. So let's start with the understanding what is a function. Function is nothing but a set of blocks, a set of instructions, it's a block which has a set of instructions. Like for example, if you want to perform something, without the help of that particular function you cannot perform it. Okay, for example, if I want to write a code which is repeating again and again, and I wanted to avoid repetition of the stuff, so in that case we can use this function, right? And then we have a file handling. So we'll be seeing how you can basically create a file, how you can handle these files, or how you can exactly manipulate these files using the OS, that is operating system, right? And we will call that OS libraries inside the Python programming languages, and then we'll try to re-execute them and understand each and everything, right? So let's start with the concept. So the first problem statement which we are having over here, it says write a function that accepts marks of a student in 3 subjects as a parameter, determine the average and return the grade based on the average as per the following table, right? So we have a table over, it has a list of average marks, and we have a grade as well. If the kid is having 80 or above, we say A grade, 60 to 79 B grade, 50 to 59 C grade, 40 to 49 if it's D grade, and E if it's less than 40. And so that's the case how we are going to work on. So this is our very first program which we are going to do today. So let's start building with that. So first of all, I will just open the idle, right? So as we are going to create something in this case, so we are going to start with the we have the Python idle over here. Just a second. Okay, so sorry for the disturbance. Actually, I just wanted to adjust my camera and your phone. Yeah. So as I was saying that we're going to start with the development of the stuff that is the program. So I will say a new file. Okay, and I'll be naming it as something as not exactly a mistake. Command S. I'm mentioning it as great. Oh. Wait a second. I'll set on a desktop by the mass. Great. Okay. So now the first thing which you have to work on is the part where we can easily able to declare the concept of function. So to define a function, I'm specifying the word define. Okay. So we have to use the word def, that is define. Then we have to give the function name. So I'll be saying over here grade, right? Which takes over here as per the question. You have to give the parameters. As you can see, we have created over here parentheses. These parentheses are known as tuple as well. So we're using over here parentheses, and as per the problem statement which we have, it says that accept only 3 subject as a parameters. So you have to take 3 subjects as a parameter. So I'll be saying sub1, comma sub2, comma sub3, sub3. And then in Java languages and JavaScript languages, we know that we used to give curly brackets to separate the code. So in this case, we are using colon, and this colon helps you to get indentation. You can see the cursor came on below just the G alphabet. It's in the grade. So now I will start with the concept. So first of all, to find any average, okay, of any grade of any subject, we have to first of all find its average as per the question also says. So we're going to start with the same concept over here. So we'll be saying something as AVG, it is average, equals to sub 1 plus sub 2 plus sub 3. In brackets, I'm going to write this thing. So it gets more precise stuff. Divide by 3. Okay. When I say divide by 3, it performs the same concept, right? So I will be saying divide by 3. Yeah. I'll be saying divide by 3. Once I say this, okay, then we are going to say that the condition. So I'll be saying in this, if bracket open, bracket close, practice of Java. Yeah. If my AVG is greater than or equal to, I don't want to shift it left side, 80, right? Then it will be saying print. Just a second. I'll just connect my charger. Yeah, hello. Okay. So what we have done over here, we have created a function named grade. So we have defined the function as I said. So we are saying def. Then I said sub 1, sub 2, and sub 3. These are the 3 parameters which you are looking for. So these 3 parameters are the most required. So these are the average marks for those subjects. Okay, those subjects can be English, English, math, and science. So we're taking over a total 3 subjects. We are finding its average. So we're saying AVG equals to sub 1 plus sub 2 plus sub 3 divided by 3, because there are 3 subjects. So as per the rules of average, we say that the total number of averages divided by the number of elements. If my average is greater than 80, then I'll be saying print, like sorry, the strings. I'll be saying grade A, right? LF. Now you have to always make one sure that you have to always make one thing very sure that when you are using Java language, we use over there else if you're using JavaScript or C++, we say over there concept called as else if. But in Python programming languages, we use over here elif, that is elif, elif. Okay, so this elif helps a lot, right? So in this case, now I'll say that if my avg is, what's my second condition, between 60 to 79. Okay, so we have to consider 60, you have to consider till 80. Okay, so I'll be saying if my average is from 60 less than or equal to avg, which is again less than 80. Okay, if you want, you can write it less than or equal to 79. It's one and the same, it does not make any difference. So we are just mentioning over here the structure, that is what we exactly want in this case. Okay, so we are saying the elif part, then I'll come over here, I'll say print, bracket open and close, double quotes, if my, in this case, my grade is gonna be B. Okay, so once I do this B grade, okay, then I will start for the elif, right? And before I start with the next part of elif, I want you guys to make one thing very much clear. It's very important for you that you have to subscribe to my channel, you have to like this live stream, all of these. Okay, if you have any doubt or query, you can post it in the live chat. So this live sessions are conducted specially for you, so that you can clear your doubts, so that you can easily able to understand the concepts and the ideas behind that, right? So this live session is conducted for the same reasons, right? So please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, as subscription and these all things does not cost you anything, it's totally free of you. So please do it, because we require these kind of subscriptions and all, so that we can get more engaging content, more new contents as well, right? So now I'll start with the continuation of the code. Sorry, so I'll be starting the next part, that is elif. The next condition which I'll be giving as from my next condition is 50 to 59. Okay, I'll be saying this 50 less than equal to avg less than equal to 59. Okay, I'll come over here and I'll say that print a second, yeah, I've just adjusted myself. So now I'll be saying in this case print grade C. Okay, again elif part, right? And I'll be saying again the same, almost like the same, not exactly the same thing. I'll now say that 40 less than equal to avg less than equal to 49. I'll be saying over here print statement, and this print statement will be saying that it's grade B. Okay, I'll come to the next part and I will say elif. The last part which I have is for the grade E. If my avg is lesser than 40, okay, then I have to say over here that print grade E. Okay, once I do this thing, then I will come out of this segment, and before I come over here, I will just print one more statement, that is print average calculated is avg. Okay, and then we will be giving these elements, and we will come out of this def condition. Now we are going to start with the exact taking input from the user. So we are going to say something like subject names. It will be more precise and easy for us. Math equals to, in this case, now we are going to accept float. So I will say float input enter the marks of math subject. Okay, and I'll just try to copy this entire statement, paste it over here. Before I paste this thing, I'll be now saying science equals to, I'll go at the end part of it, and I'm saying SCIENC, science, right? Again, a next part in this, and I'll be saying something over here as case sensitivity, ENG and ISH English. I'll be saying it's equal to, and I'll be saying English. Okay, so now in this case we have three inputs from the user. So now why we use this function? Now function is also known as calling block. Okay, like for example, not exactly this calling, but whenever we declare any function, okay, you can call this function as per the requirement. For example, now we have taken the three subject as an input, so now if I want, I can call these a function. So it's very easy to call the function just like this way. Grade, bracket open and close, right? And thus I'll be saying sub 1, that's my math, comma sub 2, that's my science, comma English, and I save this project and I execute it. It says me enter the math marks, so 99, 98, 79, average is calculated, it's 92, the grade is A. Okay, so this is the way how it works, right? So this is the way how exactly it tries to fetch the values and the answer from the project. So this is the way how it accepts the stuff. So we say over here that average calculated is AVG is greater than or equal to 80, print grade A or print grade B, print grade C and all. So this happens very easy. So this is the way how the function is getting declared and called, right? So once we do this thing, I'll just save it. And as this was the case how we used to create the project with the help of a function. Okay, so this function was easily able to find the grade and everything. Now let's see what's the next part of code which we have. Next we have is a list and list comprehension. Okay, so list comprehension, it provides a concise way to create a list. So basic syntax which we have is expression for an item in list if condition. For example, if we say that for item in list if condition, then the expression. So this result is a list itself, right? So before we move ahead, we have to also see a project with the help of a loop, and how exactly a loop works and functions. So why don't we start printing with a mathematical table? Okay, that's very easy one, as well as it's very easy to understand as well. So we're going to say over here table. Now in this case, we'll start directly with the functioning. So I will just say INP equals to int input double quotes, and I'll be saying enter the number whose table you want. I'll come to the next line. I will straight away say that for I in range 11. Okay, for I in range I'll make it more precisely from 1 to 11. That's my from 1 to 10, right? Then I'll be saying in this something as print statement, and this is gonna print as INP comma double quotes. I'll be giving a capital X, so it gives me the exact multiplication effect. I comma double quotes equals to not exactly quotes. Now I'll be saying I into INP. Okay, so now we're going to print this thing, and let's execute and see. Table of 5. Can you see this? It says 5 into 1, 5 into 2, 5 into 3, 5 into 4, 5 into 5, 5 into 6, 5 into 7, 5 into 8, 5 into 9, 5 into 10. So it prints still 50. Okay. Now, in this case, it is continuing again and again, again and again, again and again. Right? If I print this again, if I'm on the table of 19450, you can see it's printing this as well. says 194 it's almost like 19,450, 19,450. Let's keep printing again and again. If I go again over here and I say to print the table of 1682321, you can see it's printing any kind of a table in this case, right? So it's very easily able to figure out the table, exactly what kind of table it wants to print and how exactly table it wants to print. Okay, so this is the way how it's easily able to print the table whichever is required, right? So I just want to execute these two programs. I'll just play code over here so you can easily see them. I just want you to try it out, or if you want I can just paste it this as a screenshot as well. I just want you guys to take the printout or the screenshot or snip the screen currently, so that you can easily take a the code in this and you can use it as well. I will also mention the link where you can directly get this code, okay, from our web page or from our website, so you can directly fetch the details from there as well, right? So just have this look, right? Just click on print screen button and it takes a screenshot of your screen. Once this is done, now we'll next part to the next topic, that is list comprehension, file handling. Okay, now what is exactly file handling? We have seen that many programs, the nowadays softwares which you are using, those accept the inputs from the different files like text file, Excel and all, okay, and it reads the entire file and adds or imports the data into entire software, okay. And also it also manages, for example, if you have listened one of our course as well, that is Tally ERP, okay, it's accounting office based software, okay. In that you can add any kind of a Excel, any kind of a text file, and you can read that file. In that you can easily import the data, and this particular data is can be also be exported as well, okay, so that you can work on the data as well. So the basic syntax which we use in this cases, that is either we open the file or we close the file. Now there are two cases how you can use this. One, if you want to write the file, if you want to write something inside the file, you want to change the file, or else you can use it in the case of if you want to read the entire file. You don't want to print anything on the file, but you want to read the data inside the file, okay. So let's start with that. So the first thing which you are going to do is we are going to start with the project with the same case, okay. So the basic syntax which we have is var open, so we say path comma mode, okay. So there are many, as I said you that you can do two things in this. Either you can write something inside the file, or else you can read the file. So these are the moding operations. We'll see what kind of modes do we have and what we can do with that. Also with that we have the second part which says var.close. Var.close, that's my variable.close. That means I'll be easily able to close the file, because we cannot keep any file open, because those files tend to populate the data, they tend to migrate the data as well. So it's better to close the files, and it is compulsory to be closed, okay. So we have few concepts before we go to the next part. That is the first thing we say to read a file. We have a concept called as read line. This method returns as a string the next line of a text file, including the end of line character. When the end of file is reached, it returns an empty string, for example. So we have a particular code written over here. So why don't we execute this thing, right? So what we are going to do is, first of all, we need a external file somewhere, like a txt file. So I'll just search for a txt file, just a second. Yeah, this sounds to be good. Copy, paste it. Okay, so this particular software is going to be in the desktop only, so I'm keeping it over here. But for safer side, I will copy it. I'll see what is in this file. As you can see, the file is not empty. It is having some data. It's the data of the web development class, which it just now took few hours back. That's not even few hours back, but few minutes back, if I'm not wrong. Almost like 1.5 hours before. Okay. So I'll just go here, right click, properties, C user cable desktop. The file name is s2.txt. Okay, so what we are going to do is I'll just close all unwanted tables and all. It's done. Right, I'll go here, create a new file. Okay, and I'll be saying in this to save a file, so I'll be saying file open. Okay, I'm naming it as file open. Right, now the first thing which you are going to do, as it says that input of a file is taken, because you are saying input file equals to open and the file name comma its mode. So in this, when we say R, that's a reading mode. Okay, so this is not the way, it's just for the illustration, it's just a basic syntax. We'll see how it exactly is used. Right, so we're going to say inp equals to open a file. This file will be at the location like this, which will be named as s2.txt comma double quotes, like single quotes, and that will be having R. Okay, once it start taking the input, it will start reading the file. So when, till what time it will read, we'll see that as well. So I'll be saying in this line equals to input, that is my inp dot read line, bracket open and close. You can see it's a function, it's an enroll function. Now till what time it should read, we'll be saying while my line is not equal to, it's not equal to double quotes, it should keep reading it, and I will say print that entire line. Okay, and then I will be saying that line equals to inp dot read. Okay, and I will save this and let's execute. Unicode not position truncated. Oh, wait a second. Let's try remove this location. This might work. Whoa. As you can see, both are in the same location. That's the reason it automatically took it. Right. So as you can see in this case, it has printed the entire HTML code which I have wrote in the previous session. You can read this. You see it? Right. Let's try something else. Let's try to create another file. I'll just minimize this, minimize this, a new file, text document, and we'll be naming it as test. Welcome to Python Stream Live Python Programming class exclusive. India. And next part which I'm going to have is, let's start coding for let's start first step. Subscribe button and like the video. Okay, I have wrote this thing. I will save it. I'll go to my program. Instead of s2, now I will say test and save. You can see this again, it has printed this statement. Right, let's try one more thing. Let us open the same file again, and what if I try to add some kind of formats, font, means save it. the style, save it. Let's see how does it print in the task again. It prints in a normal format, whichever the Python program is taught for, right? So there is no difference in their font and all. So we have to always make sure that these particular files do not take any font type as an input. Okay, so as we have used over there R, right? So now let's try something weird now. I'm going to say instead of R, we'll now say W, and instead of reading this line, okay, I'll do a very small change in this, and I'll be just saying in this that inp dot write oops text changed, and I save this and I execute it. So it gives me no output because we have not given any print statement. Let's see the exact file condition. Oops, nothing is there. The file became empty. I'll just close this. I'll go to the program. Let's save this np.close. Now this might work. Let's save. Nothing. Go to the program. Save test. It says oops, text changed, right? So where is my existing text? What the stuff which we have wrote is now got replaced. In this case, it got replaced completely. Whatever the code you have written over there, for example, if I copy this, if I keep pasting this thing, okay, now I save this. Now if I want to write something after this, we have to always make one thing sure that never to use W in this case when you want to append something. So there is a word called as append, AEPEND. Append is a function, it's a mode which helps you to add the text inside the program, inside your file. So we say go here append, so I'll say A, oops, text has changed newly and fantastically. Saved, executed, the execution is done. Let's go to the test file and see. You can see this oops, text has changed newly and fantastically, right? Let's give one more spacing so we can get some idea. In this case, let's save it. Okay, I'll go to the project again, F5, right? So we have saved it in this case. Again, let's open the project. You can see it came over here, right? Fantastically. Oops. So we have to take this in the next line, right? So for that we have a feature called as /n/n. Let's see whether this works or not. Can you see it came to the next line, right? So this is the way how it works. So this is the way how you can execute the program. So what I want to do is I wanted to practice this out, code this out, okay? And if you have any doubt and query, please do ask me as well, okay? So please do ask me if you have any sort of doubt or query. I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy person to be helping you out in this, right? So please go through ahead if you have any doubt or query, okay? So just take your time, try to build this thing. I'll be waiting for 5 minutes and then we'll start with the next part, that is the OS operation, okay? forgot to unmute myself. Okay, sorry, so let's start again. Okay, so just now we have gone through the concept of file opening modes. I was saying that in that we have multiple different kinds of file opening modes. That is R, W, R plus, W plus, append and all, right? So in this case, when I say R, which means to open my file only for reading purpose, where I cannot edit the file, I cannot write anything inside the file. Second, which I have is W. Okay, W means to open a file for writing purpose only, and it overrides the file if the file exists. If the file does not exist, it will start creating a new file. Okay, then we have is R plus. R plus is something very much different, which mainly focuses on reading of the file but cannot write the file. Like it writes the file but not primarily, it's a secondary option, right? So main function which says R plus, that means a R additional feature which says reading and writing but focuses mainly on reading of the file. It cannot truncate the file. Truncate in the sense it cannot merge two files together. Okay, it just can read the file, it can just read both files together, it can start printing one by one, right? And the next part which you have is W plus, which means mainly focusing on writing the files, but it also reads the file as well. So we say that can truncate a file. That means it can merge two files if you want to. For example, if you want to perform any kind of operation, any kind of program which takes two files as an input, and you want to perform something with the resultant of the two files, then I will suggest to use W plus. Then we have A, that's the append. Mr. Append help us to open appending at the end of a file without truncating it. Creates a new file if it does not exist. So it's almost like a cousin brother of W. Okay, only the difference is that the bigger cousin brother, that is the W, helps us to help that particular programmer to delete the previous text and to add its new. That means it overrides the code. Okay, but in the case of append, which is a small kid, a small brother or small cousin, which is very much smart enough and it can write from the continuation itself. For example, if you close your line at line number 500 and the column has 40, okay, then it will start with the 41. It will not completely remove the entire program, right? Then we have T, which opens the file in the T, that's in a text mode. Like you can only see the textual format as in your txt format. Then we have is a B mode, that is a binary mode. This helps the user to open a file in a binary format, that is your zeros and ones, right? Then we have is a X, that is open exclusive creation, failing if the file already exists, right? But not only this much, your binary mode is not zeros and one as well. You can also open images, you can work with the images, right? For example, the software nowadays which we are using a lot instead of Paint, that was Tux Paint, TUXPAINT, Paint. Tux Paint was also developed using Python, and it uses this the binary mode operation as well. So it also used to manipulate with the images as well in a binary format. Next we have is a problem statement which says open a file, read the contents of the file. Okay, it's a very simple project which you have to do. So let's start with that. Okay, so let's start with the stuff. I'll go to the program. What we are going to do, we're going to trick this out a little bit. So we are going to say that first of all INP. What we are going to do, we are going to have a file which is x2. We'll start storing some numbers into them. Okay, and in the next part, just a second, we have the numbers over here. Yeah, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, right? So now what we are going to do, we are going to accept and import this file. So I'm going to say open, right? This particular open acts as a test2.txt, right? And we're going to take this thing, comma, I want it in the R mode, right? And we're going to say that line equals to inp dot read line, okay, while my line is not equal to empty stuff, and we're going to say that inp print line, and again I will say line equals to inp dot read line and save and execute. But I think so I didn't save this file. Let's save it again. Test2.txt. Let's execute again. You can see it's printing me the entire stuff, entire list over here. So as you can see, it's completely printing the stuff as well. So what you can do is you can not only take this as an element. Am I audible now? If I'm not wrong, right? So what you can do is not only taking this element from a file, you can also try to manage these files as well. So how that is possible, let's see that. So there is operation called as overs manipulating. Overs manipulating means that with the help of operating system, you can manipulate the entire stuff, right? For example, the first thing we have to do is we have to import the OS. So let's come over here and I will say import OS, importing OS, right? Once I import the OS, okay, let's try to remove the stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll just remove this part. Let's remove this. I'll just show you there is a file named test2. Okay, there's an Excel file and a normal file. So what we are going to do is says remove text2.ctx. So I'm going to say import OS. So I'll say OS dot remove, open and close double quotes, test2.txt. Okay, press enter, save it, execute. No command has came. Let's see the file exists or not. If you can see, the file does not exist. Okay, the file does not exist in this place because it has gone. Let's now create a directory in this. That's a folder. So I will say mkdir, save, execute. Once I do this, I'll have to just go and see what's over here. Text2.txt as a file name, but is a directory. Okay, now let's print the current working directory. So I'll be just saying over here that os.get cwd current working directory. Oh, I forgot to give the print statement. Save. It says it's in c:/user/table/desktop. Okay, now if I want to remove the directory, okay, it's very easy to do. I'll just say that os.rmdir, and that is my double quotes, test2.txt, save, execute. You can see it's gone from here. Okay, so once this is, you can also do this thing, right? Also, I'll be also showing you in the next part that how you can take the particular file, okay, and you can see that whether that file exists or not. That is a function called as os.path. Okay, os.path, we are going to see how does that work. I can also show you a small glimpse on the internet as well, so you get some idea. os.path exist. Can you see this? os.path exist. It's a function, right? So let's go to the python.org, and this will be easily able to see os.path abs exist. Can you see this? It's returned to if path refers to an existing path or an operator, file disruptor, returns false or broken symbolic links, right? So let's try out this as well. Let's try to give the path as well. So let's go over here, and from import I'm going to give a condition that if os.path.exist, right? Let us see something which is already there. Oops, wrong stuff. Is it having something? If this has something, test dot exist test dot txt. If this is there, okay, then we are going to say in this the same concept which we wrote. So we will say that inp equals to open test.txt, right? And I'll be saying line equals to inp dot read line. I can open and close. If this is there, then I will say that while line is not equal to this thing, then I wanted to print the line, and I'll copy the same line at the bottom. So copy, paste it, I'll come out of this condition. While loop, I'll come out of this thing. I will also that if this is not there, I will say that file does not exist. Dismiss. Okay, F5. Let's execute. You can see that file was existing, so it gave me the text, right? But in the same case, if I go over here and I say that file2.txt save execute, it says that file does not exist. So these are the inbuilt libraries which this OS has and help us to determine with many other detailed structuring as well, right? So what we are going to do, as it's almost our timeout, so we are going to wind up over here. So what we have learned in this particular session is that how you can exactly use loops and function together. Okay, so I've done a project with respect to grade, so you can see that how you can check the grade of any individual student, right? Secondly, we have gone through the understanding of list and list comprehension. We'll also do one project with respect to list and list comprehension in the next session. Third, file handling, that how you can handle a particular file, to take input as a file, to throw output as a file, to manipulate the file, and much more in details. Different kind of reading modes, that is read line. Then file opening modes like R, W, R plus, W plus, A, T, B, X. Then we have this problem statement, which we have done a little bit of problems on file handling. Then we have done is OS manipulating, that is how you can import a OS, your operating system, what our operating system can perform, like mkdir, chdr, get current working directory, remove working directory. Okay, so that all things you can do. So we have also seen how you can check whether the file exists or not, what kind of file is that, and a little bit practice with the file operations as well. So what we are going to do in the next session is regular expression. For example, we will be accepting input from a user very restricted, very specifically. If we ask a user to give email ID, then we will compulsorily take only email ID, nothing else. How we can do that? So we are going to import RE libraries, and we'll see everything in detail, and we're going to start with the exception handling as well. How you can accept errors from the user and how you can throw the errors as well. So you're going to see how to handle exceptions and each and everything. So these are the second part which I'm going to learn, that is a regular expression, which helps us to understand regular X, that's your RE, which helps you to understand what kind of input the user should give. It prompts the error as well. And with respect to the errors, we're going to learn about how you can do exception handling. Okay, so how you can accept, or like exactly not accept, but accept the errors from the user, because there are two kinds of errors: user defined errors and syntax errors. So we'll discuss that in detail as well in the next class. So now, before we wind up, I want to do a very small task. If you have any questions or doubt, please post me in the chat. And one more thing, that you have to subscribe to my channel, like to my channel, comment your queries and doubts and your problems as well. So we'll be working on the same problem together, and I'll give you the result by your next session on the live working on the same project. Okay, and please do share these live session with all your friends, family, and all the developers so that they can also learn something new, because Python is very important nowadays for the people. So please share a little bit of support with Edu-Mark as well as your fellow members and your colleagues and your friends and family. Okay, so for a timing, now we are going to wind up for the day, right? And we'll meet soon in the next class. Okay, so see you all. Bye.
Viren Shah. I am one of the founding member and content helper of Edu-Mark India.
Hi friends, I am Kompal Shah. I am working in Edu-Mark India as a chief accountant and legal advisor.
Myself Tanvi Shah. I am a content developer and instructor of Edu-Mark India.
Myself Forum Kritya and I am Python instructor in Edu-Mark India.
Hi, I am Keval Shah, one of the first founding member of Edu-Mark India.
My name is Hed Vejani and I am instructor at Edu-Mark Institute for Ethical Hacking course.
Best part of Edu-Mark India is what I am loving. The fast growing organization with multiple places of presence across the globe.
Best part which I love of Edu-Mark India is that it is helping the nation to get literate along
Love
with
about
skills.
Edu-Mark is to encouraging people and making people to develop their skills in various ways.
Mic चालू करो
The
ना, बोलिए।
Edu-Mark Institute takes an effort to provide the knowledge and share the valuable resources through their medium.
For me, Edu-Mark is something very special because it's a unique platform for all the skillers. We have seen that there is a need to encourage the people who have their skills in our nation. And so from here, we derived our motto, that is making nation skilled.
Which makes people more advanced and competitive. This is one of the only private organization to come with this motto to get nation skill.
Edu-Mark India motto, making nation skilled and having a great contribution in the field of education as well as to the nation was the main reason why I joined the Edu-Mark team. So I personally thank you Edu-Mark for giving me such a great opportunity.
The best thing I like is Edu-Mark motto, which is making national skill. It helps students to improve their knowledge in various ways, and they can learn it whenever they want. I am happy that I am learning also and teaching in Edu-Mark.
Our motto is about making nation skilled for every individual to upgrade and buckle up their skills in whichever field they want.
We have the team of most passionate and young people. We will strive to be one of the most important reliable organization for people get access to next level education. We providing education from basic scratch the level. We are feeling so proud that we building this platform to serve or contribute nation.
For learning